The time is 9 o'clock, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements. And it is Thursday, and we have some local briefs for you. Clinton will be back tomorrow with a story, and if you missed this week's, you should go over to chmafm.com and check out Clinton's stories that were posted yesterday and on Monday. Yesterday, Clinton posted a story in a series that he's been talking with Lisa Dawn Hamilton, and the article it's titled From a Sex Ed Phone Line to Mount Allison Department Head. And on Monday, he finished up Part 3 of the Tantraran 2025, according to CHMA News, September to December. So check those out, and Clinton will be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, we have some local briefs from our community mentor editor, Katie Tower. And thank you very much, Katie, for putting these together. Mount Allison has appointed Courtney Pringle-Carver as its Chief Strategy Officer, CSO, for a 5-year term, marking a significant step as the university prepares to move into implementation phase of its strategic plan. In a newly established CSO role, Pringle-Carver will chair the Strategic Plan Implementation Group and help translate strategic priorities into coordinated institution-wide action. Pringle-Carver will work closely with academic and administrative leaders to advance initiatives that support Mount Allison's academic priorities, enhance the student experience, and strengthen the university's long-term sustainability. University President Ian Sutherland says Pringle-Carver's leadership will ensure the university's priorities are implemented effectively and with measurable impact. Pringle-Carver currently serves as Vice President of University Advancement and is a senior executive with nearly 2 decades in experience shaping strategy and institutional direction in complex public interest institutions. Fluently bilingual, she has worked across public, private, and post-secondary environments. A recipient of Canada's Top 40 Under 40 and a Canada 150 Award for Community Service, Pringle-Carver's contributions to the success of organizations have been recognized nationally. Mount Allison University's strategic plan will officially launch on January 19th. Additional details about the launch event and opportunities for community engagement will be shared in the coming days. And the Tantramar Veterans Memorial Civic Centre is in the running for this year's Craft Hockeyville competition, a national program that celebrates community arenas and awards up to $250,000 for facility improvements. The competition got underway January 1st with the nomination and rally phase, in which communities across Canada can submit stories explaining why their community should be the next Craft Hockeyville. Residents are encouraged to visit the local Civic Centre's Hockeyville page and share a story, photo, or notes about what you think the rink means to you. Each submission earns rally points for the arena. Judges then review the nominations, calculate the total scores, and select a winner from every province and territory, each of those receiving $50,000 for arena upgrades and more if the community advances to the final two. The top 2 finalists selected for the provincial and territorial winners will then compete head-to-head in a nationwide vote to determine the Craft Hockeyville 2026 Grand Prize winner, who will bring home $250,000 and an opportunity to host the NHL preseason game in their home arena. If Tantramar advances, funding would support accessibility improvements, including an elevator, improved spectator seating, and an additional wheelchair viewing area. Visit hockeyville.craft, the I-N-Z, C-R-A-F-T-H, Kraft Heinz, excuse me, hockeyville.craftheinz.com, that's C-R-A-F-T-H-E-I-N-Z, and search for Tantramar Civic Centre to submit your stories or photos before March the 1st. And now for your CHMA Atlantic update. Video game maker Ubisoft has closed its studio in Halifax, eliminating 71 jobs 3 weeks after most staff members voted to unionize. The Paris-based company issued a statement yesterday saying the move had nothing to do with the union drive, citing the need for cost-cutting as the main reason. The studio was Ubisoft's first to unionize in North America. The company says it had been trimming its global operations for the past 2 years, well before the union announced in June that a majority of Ubisoft Halifax staff had agreed to file for union certification. And police have disclosed the dog breeds involved in a weekend mauling that cost a teenager Nova Scotian boy his life. RCMP say 2 cane corsos and a Rottweiler were responsible for the attack on a 13-year-old near Sherbourne, Nova Scotia on Saturday. The boy was airlifted to hospital in Halifax but died days later. Police say the dogs have been euthanized and their owners are cooperating with the investigation. The former chief administrative officer for rural PEI municipality has been sentenced to 90 days in jail for fraud. Tammy White, who was the CAO of North Wilshire, about 20 kilometers west of Charlottetown, in 2024 when she wrote herself a $4,000 check from the municipality. During her time on the job, she was also serving an 18-month sentence in the community for possessing cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. The judge in the fraud case wondered during her sentencing hearing yesterday how she got hired, given her criminal record. And police in central Newfoundland say they've charged a man from fleeing from police and operating a vehicle while under a Canada-wide driving ban. RCMP officers stopped a vehicle Tuesday morning in Grand Falls, Windsor, and determined the driver was prohibited from driving. Police alleged he refused to exit the vehicle and then drove away, nearly striking an officer. The Mounties say they did not pursue him in the interest of public safety, but they found him later and arrested him. And Nova Scotian opposition parties and an Affordable Energy Coalition say the province's largest private electric utility is in no position to ask the public to pay for more power. NDP leader Claudia Chender told the province's energy board that household income is stagnant and the utility power grid is unreliable. The public trust in the corporation is at an all-time low in the aftermath of an April cybersecurity breach. Nova Scotia Power has proposed residential rate increase of 3.8% this year and 4.1% on January 1st, 2007. The utility says rate increases are needed to support its $1.3 plan to strengthen the grid, expand tree trimming and vegetation management, and improve its storm response. And the Provincial Auditor General has found payroll issues with health PEI, including some vacation payments that didn't follow the rules. Auditor General Darren Noonan says some ununionized workers at the government's hospital operator received payouts for vacation time and time in lieu that weren't permitted. He says some non-unionized jobs were created and filled without the proper classification or notice to the Provincial Treasury Board. The AG has made 12 recommendations to the Crown Corporation, all of which it has accepted. And that is your CHMA Atlantic update. Let's get you some weather. Let's take a quick break and I'll be right back with some weather. Here's a quick word from Yes Bye.
Hey, this is Derek of the Yes Bye Radio Show, here with
Yes Bye Pauline.
And you're listening to CHMA, the voice of the marshes, 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick. CHMA.
Yes Bye.
Yes Bye. There you go.
That's coming up on Sundays. Favorite show here, the voice of the marshes. Coming from Lethbridge, I believe. Let's get you your CHMA weather update. It's currently observed as -1 degree. Wind chill is -6 today. A whole bunch of news that's getting later in the day, but I believe a lot of this has already passed, but let's get through it all the same. Cloudy with a 60% chance of flurries this morning, then a mix of sun and cloud. Risk of freezing drizzle early this morning. Wind northwest 20 gusting to 40, becoming light near noon. High of +1. Wind chilled -8 this morning. For tonight, partially cloudy. Wind becoming clear near midnight. Wind up to 15 kilometers an hour and a low of +9. Wind chilled -16 overnight tonight. For Friday, January the 9th, increased cloudiness. Wind up to 15 kilometers an hour. High of +2. Wind chilled -16 in the morning. And a UV index 1 or low. We usually don't read that. Apologize for that. Oh my. Friday night, periods of rain, low of +1. For Saturday, January the 10th, periods of rain with a high of 6. Cloudy on Saturday night with a low of -3. Sunday, periods of snow, high of -3. And snow on Sunday night, continuing with a low of -3. That snow seems to be continuing into Monday as well, January the 12th, with a high of -1. And turns into flurries on Monday night with a low of -8. For Tuesday, January the 13th, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of -2. Tuesday night, cloudy periods with a 30% chance of flurries, a low of -4. And cloudy with a 60% chance of flurries and a high of -1 on Wednesday, January the 14th. And today is January the 8th, and Siley is away until the 20th. So we are still on our days of countdown until Siley comes back. We miss you very much, Siley. But Siley is helping out behind the scenes, working from home in computer land, keeping our schedule updated, and doing lots of outreach to our volunteers right now, helping with the news wire and all kinds of things. So still appreciate the help. Let's get out of the news segment, and I'll be right back, actually, right after the sports update with some community events for you. Sorry, I lost my place there. So here is Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
Last night in the NHL, a slew of games to tell you about, beginning with the Dallas Stars defeating the Washington Capitals on the road 4-1. It was also a 4-1 final in the Bell Center in downtown Montreal, where the Canadiens beat the visiting Calgary Flames. Continuing on to the Chicago side of the street, the Blackhawks beat the visiting Blues 7-3. It was the Mammoth over the visiting Ottawa Senators 3-1 in Utah. And in overtime, it was the San Jose Sharks defeating the Los Angeles Kings 4-3 in LA. A full slate of NBA action yesterday that included the Toronto Raptors hosting the Atlanta Hawks. The Raptors went on the road to Charlotte. There was a 97-96 victory in that one. Pistons defeat the Bulls by 15, 108-93. 76ers with a 131-110 victory over the Washington Wizards. The Denver Chicken Nuggets with a strong fourth quarter with a 114-110 victory over the Boston Celtics at the Garden. It was the Atlanta Hawks defeating the New Orleans Pelicans in the Battle of the Birds 117-100. Magic defeat the Nets by a free throw 104-103 in overtime. It was the Knicks by a dozen over the Clippers in Madison Square Garden 123-111. Suns by 19 over the Grizzlies on the road 117-98, moving Phoenix to 22-15 on the season, 10-10 on the road. In overtime, the Oklahoma City Thunder came back to defeat the Utah Jazz at home 129-125. Spurs by 16 over the Lakers in San Antonio 107-91. Warriors by 7 over the Milwaukee Bucks at home 120-113. And in the late game, it was not enough of a comeback for the Houston Rockets. They fall short of matching the Portland Trail Blazers. It is a 103-102 victory for the Blazers. And finally, last night in the PWHL, it was the Boston Fleet defeating the Seattle Torrent 2-1.
And that was Brian Nielsen with the Sports Update. Tune in weekdays at 8:30 a.m. when Brian and I get through it with the sports update, and some clever banter will ensue after that, sometimes before. And, of course, Brian hosts the 7:30 to 8:30 morning show on Mondays. Thanks for all you do, Brian Nielsen. All right around this time is when we like to get into some community events, and we always check with the municipality, see if there's any kind of urgency of something that they might announce, and there's a couple of new things there that we're going to check out. They're letting you know that the NB Power Public Information Session is coming up. It's a thing that everyone is talking about these days. It's Tuesday, January 14th, 7 to 9:30 p.m. That's going to be over at the Crabtree Auditorium, Mount Austin University. Doors open at 6:15. And I have seen Divest MTA mention on Instagram that it could be streamed. So we're going to look into that. It would be nice if CHMA could also stream that as well, because Crabtree has very limited seating. It's not a very big place at all, maybe 100, 150. I've seen someone mention 200, but that seemed optimistic, and it is a little difficult to get to. So keep tuned to CHMA. We'll let you know if we will be broadcasting that live or being able to get a recording at least of it to play a little later. But this is the Tantramar Climate Change Advisory Committee hosting a public information session where NB Power will present information on the proposed Riggs gas plant and respond directly to questions from the public. So again, that is Tuesday, January the 14th, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. over at Crabtree. Doors are at 9:15, and we'll find more information if there's going to be available to live stream either on CHMA or online or anywhere else, because it's a very important issue. And also, we've mentioned they make a note about the Tantramar Civic Center being in the Kraft Hockeyville, the national program. So there was a quick mention about that. Christmas tree pickup. It's that sad time of the year where, holidays are over. We have to admit it. But the Eco 360 is doing the Christmas tree pickup this year next week, January 12th. And that is, you have to remove all decorations, lights, tinsel, and tree stands. Place your trees curbside on your regular collection day. Any questions can be directed to Eco 360 directly at www.eco360.ca or by calling 506-877-1050. They also like to put a word out that the 19th annual Winterfest has been announced for February the 5th through the 8th, and they'll be making more announcements about what's coming up with that in just a little bit. And finally, we've been mentioning throughout the week that the Dorchester rink is open. They did a little bit of work on it. They have more to do, but it is open for now. And of course, always check with the weather and all that kind of stuff because it's warming up and it's cooling down. So hard to say what's going on. All right. I just saw a quick note as well that Bagtown Trivia is back up and running on Wednesdays. And I don't know if I have the exact details right now, but I mentioned that because Duckies is also doing trivia on Thursday nights. And it's every other Thursday night at Duckies. And that every other night is going to be this week. This is the week. Next week will be the other when it's not happening. No, wait. This is the Thursday it's happening, so the other Thursday would be in 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, starting this week, you'll have trivia down at Duckies and the trivia at. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I don't have the exact date of that trivia happening at. Oh, there it is. Bagtown starts next week, January 14th. And that opens at 5 p.m. and trivia starts at 7 p.m. That's for Bagtown, hosted by Marcy and Jenna. Okay, well, let's move out of the news segment now and get some music going.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kofi, and you're listening to CHMA.
Mount Allison Spiritual Care is offering weekly Juma prayers for Muslim students and members of the Tantramar Muslim community from 12:30 to 1 p.m. in the Manning Multi-Faith Room at the Mount Allison Chapel. For more information, reach out to Muslim Student Society at mta.ca.
No matter your disability, you likely face barriers in your everyday life. At Neil Squire, we help break those barriers down by helping you access employment, technology, and the tools you need to live your life to the fullest. As a nonprofit organization, we empower people with disabilities all across Canada, and we are here for you too. Visit neilsquire.ca to learn more.
And that was your CHMA News. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramar's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com. All right, and I'm back. It is 9:18 here on The Voice of the Marshes. I'm your host, James Anderson. I'll be back again at 12 o'clock, but I still got some 12 minutes to take you to the end of the morning show. Katie Tupper, big star around here. We were talking about Joe Hubley a little earlier. Joe was a big fan of Katie Tupper. I think even managed to get in an interview while he was with us, which I guess has been like 3 years now, but you know, it's stuff of legends, that Joe Hubley, who is now operating out of Alberta, I believe, maybe in Calgary, some Edmonton, and has changed his name to a country star and is doing quite well. Wears a big cowboy hat and got a big mustache and is doing all the things that Joe dreamed of doing in the music world. So congratulations, Joe. Good on you. So Joe, big Katie Tupper fan. We're going to play Right Hand Man. And we have some Courtney Marie Andrews with the track Keeper, as well as Michelle David with the track Running. All here on The Voice of the Marshes. And I'll be back with some more community updates for you in, just one tune. Here we go.
becoming your first and right man centerpiece. You're leaning on me for deep down in a piece. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Crawling on new world made of these. The passion will last. It's no love tourniquet. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Did you get my invite? I wanna throw a party. Then move out to the Badlands and never speak again. You wore my favorite t-shirt and threw it in the garbage. Said I was a handful, made me your other limb. Save my breath cause there's no point in talking. I'm a thought inside your head. When my words leave you so disappointed. Without a warning, I'm becoming your first and right man centerpiece. You're leaning on me for deep down in a piece. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Calling on new world made of these. The fashion will last. It's no love tourniquet. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Stay the night and pick a fight. 24 hours in a day, and I can give you all of mine. Tell me you notice your ways. I walk away from the things that beg of me. Explain the ways my hands fill up easily. Fighting to drive my point home. I'm becoming your first and right man centerpiece. You're leaning on me for deep down in a piece. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Calling on new world made of these. The passion will last. It's no love tourniquet. I'm slipping away. The pressure's making me bleed. Calling now, unless it's no love. You lean on me so you don't fall down. Calling now, unless it's no love. You lean on me so you don't fall down.
All right, that was Katie Tupper with Right Hand Man here on the Voice of the Marshes. Let's roll over to the CHMA community calendar and see what is going on. Big thanks again to Siley for keeping it updated. Yeah, just to let you know, the schedule will be changing up quite a bit just as of yesterday, because we are patient and understanding folks here at the Voice of the Marshes, and the students were away for the holidays, and well, some stuck around, and we have Kimmy is a student but also a community member in that they live close by, so they kept up with a lot of the morning shows, and yesterday Eric Gohill came back. Twee joined us and did a training session as well, and Ashna is back on air again. You would have heard Ashna yesterday 4 to 5 o'clock, so the afternoons just livened up quite a bit. As far as we're gonna try out a hosting time slot of having Eric from 3 to 4, Ashna from 4 to 5, and then Maya Noel 5 to 6, of course. And that will give you quite a bright afternoon of daytime hosting. And that would mean that Kimmy, Brian, and I are holding down the morning shows, and I'll be flying solo on the noon show. But I think when Sally gets back in about 12 days, then we might double host the noon show just to keep it going, because we did that for a couple of times just on a Friday, and it was a lot of fun. But now that I'm in the flow of doing the noon show, I quite enjoy it. And that would be nice. We don't have too many two-people shows, but just a note to mention that if you do know anyone that's a student or a community member that is interested in radio hosting this style, not so much the volunteer style, that we still have lots of space for volunteers, but the daytime stuff where we're calling out news and local events and all that kind of thing, keeping the community informed and entertained, to let them know we have a couple of positions open for 5 hours a week, and these can be done easily from the beautiful studios up here at the tip-top third floor of the Wallace McCain Student Center, 62 York Street. But we also have the ability to set you up to do it live from home as well. What we are looking for are dedicated folks with a big heart for the Tantramar community to help get the word out about what's happening around the marshes. So yeah, if that fits the bill, then send them to chmafm.com and menu, careers and internships. You'll find more information there. Because that's a big push that we started doing in September for the first time, and it's working out quite well. So we're going to push the envelope a little more and see how much we can do to liven up the airways here at the Voice of the Marshes. It is 9:26. Community calendar says that I've already mentioned the 19th annual Winterfest coming up in February. I've already mentioned the Dorchester Outdoor Rink is open to skating. I've already mentioned that Ducky's Every Other Tuesday Trivia is this Thursday, and Bagtowns will start up next Wednesday. Claritone is the Sackville Film Society of the Week, which is about the Canadian-designed legendary museum quality stereo system that was produced and partially for a while in a factory in Nova Scotia, if I remember correctly, and then fell into obscurity because it just didn't do so well, as there is a lot of Canadian inventions and enterprises that go that way. Sackville Farmers Market's up on Saturday. Next week is the Christmas tree pickup, and there is a regular council meeting next Tuesday, the 13th, 7 p.m., which is... Yeah, okay. So that's also what's coming up. Also next Tuesday, you might want to put this one in your hat. Jackson Two Bears is doing a 2026 Pratt lecture over at the Moiter Fancy Purdy Crawford Center for the Arts. That's going to be at 7 p.m. and it'll be a great talk. And yeah, as we mentioned before, next Wednesday, the NB Power Public Information Session that is organized by the Tantramar Climate Change Advisory Committee will be held at Crabtree, 7 p.m., January 14th. And yeah, there you go. Whole bunch of stuff. It's 9:27. That's my time on the morning show. I will be back at 12 o'clock with your local briefs, some Atlantic update, weather, and all that kind of good stuff, and some great music. You're listening to 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick. This is Courtney Marie Andrews with the track Keeper.
Ah.